What's up, guys? It's me, Angry Birds fan 1234, and welcome back to another video. Now, we're not playing Trailmakers today, but I want to talk about Kaos from Skylanders. So, almost at the end of almost every game, you fight Kaos. Kaos is the main villain, bad guy in the Skylanders games. And he is in all 6 games, with the exception of the 3DS games. But those don't really count. We're not talking about those. And these boss fights, some of them are good, and some of them not so good. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be ranking all 6 of the Kaos boss fights from each of the 6 Skylanders games. Now, I'm going to be ranking them by the overall fun that I had playing them and the difficulty, because they are the ending boss fights. They should be hard. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, sadly, in last place is Superchargers. Now, I know Kaos technically isn't the final boss of this game. The Darkness is, but Kaos is the final boss in, not in a vehicle. So technically he is, at the very least, he should be hard. But this boss battle just isn't. It's very easy. It's not all that difficult. I did go back and replay all 6 of the boss fights, and this one was by far over the quickest. It was very easy, not that hard. When he splits himself up into multiple things, you can easily find out which the real one is. It's just not that hard. And for the record, I also played each of the boss fights on normal mode just to get the average experience. And this one was by far the easiest. It just wasn't that hard. It didn't live up to at least close to a final boss. And it's a shame, because this is my second favorite Skylanders game. But sadly, it gets last place on the list. So, coming in at 5th place, again, sadly, is Imaginators. Now, Imaginators is my favorite Skylanders game, but the boss fight against Kaos is kind of, it looks cool, where Kaos literally goes Super Saiyan, but it's, again, not all that difficult. It is harder than at least the Superchargers fight, but it's still a little on the easy side. And when I did do this boss fight, I did use the Senseis, because if I use the Imaginators, it'd be almost way too easy, because the Imaginators can get really overpowered real fast with the amount of Senseis that you have. And I did lose Kingpin on this, but that's just because I was kind of being stupid. I was kind of messing around at some points, just wasn't really paying attention. And even then, one thing that they could have done to make this boss fight better, one of my suggestions is, when you fight the Doomlanders that he summons during the boss fight, they could have made it, when you fight the Doomlanders, it damages Kaos when you hit the Doomlanders. Now, what they could have done is made it where if you fight the Doomlanders, the damage that you do to the Doomlanders doesn't affect Kaos. They should have made it where the only way you can damage Kaos is by hitting Kaos instead of hitting the Doomlanders. So I think that would have made this a little bit better, but sadly, this does get 5th place. Alright, coming in at 4th place is Skylanders Swap Force. And this is kind of a shame, because this is actually the game that I grew up with. This is what first introduced me to Skylanders, so it does have some nostalgia to me. And the boss fight, it does stuff very differently. You do fight Kaos, but he's this massive, probably 100-foot tall beast. He's all purple with the evil eyes crystals all over him. So you fight his different body parts because of how big he is. First you fight his toenails, and then you go, I think, inside of his teeth, inside of his mouth, and fight his fight the crystals off his teeth and then into his brain or his head. And you go through this one kind of chase scene where you go to this cannon and it shoots you, and you hit his like little symbol thing on his head, and then he gets defeated. And so it is kind of fun because, well, you fight like Kaos's different body parts. It's different. It changes it up. Like, it switches up the gameplay because you go to different places. You go and fight Kaos's different parts. And it's fun. It's different. It switches it up, and it makes it a fun experience to play. That's why I like this one. But these other ones that are coming later down the list, they're just better than this one. Again, I don't hate any of these boss fights, it's just some are better than others. That's why this one gets 4th place. Alright, now, 3rd place, Skylanders Trap Team. Now, I know a lot of people, like the vast majority of Skylanders players, say that this is by far the hardest boss fight in Skylanders, but I don't know if it's just me, but to me, it's just not as hard as people say it is. Now, I don't know if that's just because I played it on normal mode, because I usually play on normal mode, except for Imaginators, which I usually play on expert mode, just because the Imaginators are really good. But this one, even on normal mode, it wasn't all that difficult. I mean, yes, it did provide some challenge because it's a final fight, but it wasn't as hard as people say it is. Now, it's still a really good boss fight, but he does the worst thing a boss can do. He heals himself. Not once, but twice. And that's very annoying. But it is still cool. He gets these Traptanium swords the first time he heals, and then has these giant black angel wings after the second time he heals. And it is a fun boss fight. He does these waves things they have to jump over. It is a fun boss fight. It keeps you on your toes. He sends out the Doom Sharks, and you have to, like, dodge those, and then these, like, different elemental bullets. And pretty much always there will be one bullet that heals you and one that damages you. But it is fun. It keeps you on your toes like a boss battle should and provides some sort of challenge. Alright, so coming in at 2nd place, we have the Skylanders Giants boss fight. And can I just say, this is an epic boss fight. Now, Giants and Spiral's Adventure I was introduced to later, because the Swap Force is what I grew up with and got all the games after that. But Giants and Spyro's Adventure, I got, like, probably maybe a year ago. Maybe. So these are still relatively new to me. But this boss fight is really fun. Just seeing, like, Ermit and your Machine Ghost fighting giant Robo Chaos in the background, it just looks so epic. Like, just seeing them battle it out, punching each other, and just all that. Then they pin down... And then Ermit pins down, like, Chaos's head, and you have to fight him, and fight the Iron Fist of Arcus that's on him. It's just really fun. Especially with all the fighting in the background, and the enemies that he summons, especially those, like, Archean Juggernauts, the ones with, like, the shield, and it shoots the beams, and those are not fun to deal with. And it makes it hard, how a boss battle should be. I know I keep saying that, but it is true. So anyway, it's really fun. Seeing the two giant robots just battle it out in the background, it's really cool looking and really fun. Alright, so 1st place, you guys have probably figured it out by now, is Spyro's Adventure. And boy, is this a boss fight. Now, this, in my opinion, is the hardest boss fight out of all the games. I don't know if it's probably just me, but this is a real boss fight. You have to fight Kaos in his, like, chair. You don't actually fight Kaos himself, you kind of just fight his chair. It's kind of weird, and he has his Hydra shooting out all the different spells at you that you've encountered throughout the game. And it's just really, really cool. And with the spells going on as you're trying to fight Kaos, it's makes it really difficult. Plus, with Kaos spawning all of the other, like, evil Skylanders while you're trying to fight them, oh boy, it makes it difficult as heck. Because some of those enemies are, some of the dark Skylanders, enemy Skylanders, are very difficult to fight. And it makes it hard. Probably the most hard out of the Skylanders games. At least in my opinion. So that's why this one gets first place on the list. This one has the best boss fight. Because of the difficulty and the fun that I had while playing it. And this one definitely keeps you on your toes. So, yep, that is my ranking of all of the Skylanders games. Superchargers, last place. Imaginators, 5th place. Swap Force is in 4th. Trap Team, 3rd. Giants, 2nd. And Spyro's Adventure, 1st. That is my list of all of the Chaos boss fights in the Skylanders games. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me ranking each of the Chaos boss fights. And if you did enjoy it, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Stay tuned for more, and I will see you guys in the next video.